Hello everyone and welcome to this Marketing Experiments web clinic. We got a lot of great value for you today, and speaking of value, that's actually the topic we're going to be speaking on: how to get the most value out of your advertisements. Couple house cleaning things we got to take care of first. I want to remind everyone that we're fast approaching the wonderful Marketing Sherpa Summit 2016. It's going to be held in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada at the Bellagio Hotel. If you want more information, please go to meclabs.com/Sherpa Summit Sherpa Summit 16 to get more information. Also, I want to bring everyone's attention to the fact that you can actually get personalized coaching from Meclabs scientists. If you're interested in this, go to meclabs.com/coaching. We'll get someone to sit down with you and help you talk about your testing strategy, how to increase the revenue that your marketing department is generating, also how to apply the Meclabs scientific methodology to your specific marketing campaigns and needs. So now we got that out of the way, I just want to remind everyone that we are on Twitter. It's going to be Twitter's #WebClinic, so please tweet out anything that I say, any questions you have, and connect with us on that level. You can also interact with us through the actual viewing software here by typing questions that you may or may not have. Regina did a great job introducing you. My name is Ben Phillip. I've been working here at Meclabs for quite a while, have tons of tests. You've probably seen me on a couple of these before. I'm really excited about being here today. Also, we have Ken Bowen here. He's our Senior Manager of Editorial Content. He's going to be jumping on a little later to help us with some live optimization, and Ken is really the driver to get this content to you today, so we're really happy to get him on. All right, let's jump right in. How are we going to optimize ads and get the most value? I'd like to start with a simple experiment. It's test protocol number 3041 in the Meclabs Research Library if you want to go on and find it. We were approached by a company and they wanted to increase their online advertisement, and it was specifically for a credit card campaign they had. They were really excited about the offer. It was an exclusive offer to them, but they thought they could get a better result than they were in applications. So we're trying to increase the applications here that come from a PPC or paid ad. We asked a simple research question: which online ad will generate the most applications? So we came up with a creative. We did an A/B split test. Here are the two versions that were put in front of a potential customer. I want to talk to the audience right now. I'm getting some things, no audio, mic and speaker. Okay, you got that, Vic Spencer, great. If you can't hear me, please let us know. I'm going to keep going though. So version A here is one, version B is another one. I want to hear from everybody on here. Which one of these do you think will win? Version A or version B? A, got some A's, some B's coming in. Looks like a pretty mixed bag here. B because of the $75. You're picking up that version B is actually really emphasizing the $75 credit. That's good. I'm seeing a majority of B's here. Actually, everyone, it was A. A had a 68% validated lift in applications. You see that, can someone tell me what A is focusing on? What is the difference, the key differentiating factor between A and B here? See the Apply Now button, the button CTA. Exclusive benefits, whoever said that, that's great. I see a couple people saying exclusivity, perfect. Exclusive benefits is what drove the win here. It was a 68% increase, created quite a bit of ROI on these ads for the company. And the reason was because we focused on the exclusivity. Read the headline: get the exclusive credit card and support your initiatives. Choose the rewards that matter most to you versus the $75 statement credit. The great thing about preparing a value proposition in the appropriate way is that you can actually get a bigger gain and keep more revenue because you don't have to incentivize anyone. We're not trying to persuade someone to come on and click this button. We're providing the value within the thought process that they're in that gets them to want to be part of this exclusive offer. So the first key principle is if you have an appealing offer and it's not exclusive, then the force of that offer has actually been diluted because of all the other competitors and competing options that you've given it. It's a two-sided coin though, because if you have an offer that's exclusive, but it doesn't have any appeal in the marketplace, then you've undermined that value again and you haven't attracted the customers that you needed to. So you might be sitting there, well, how do I balance that appeal and that exclusivity? How do I get to that sweet one factor that is going to get people to click? At Meclabs, we've worked tirelessly over the last couple decades trying to understand this value exchange that we have with our customers on a daily basis. And we've boiled it down to a few key principles, and we've wrapped up this really nice heuristic so that you can start to weigh and look at your value propositions against each other. I'm going to go in here into the terms a little bit. If you have more questions, you want me to go deeper, let me know. The main VF is the value force. That's the perceived value that your offer is giving whoever's reading it. The CF is the cost force, which is the perceived cost of them taking an action. Whether that's a button click or reading a headline or even reading the ad, there is a cost in the user's mind associated with that. When you subtract those two, you're ended with the net force. And the higher the net force of your value proposition, the more conversions, clicks, whatever your goal is for the experiment, you are going to get. I really want to focus on the value force here because we break it down a little bit deeper. The value force is based on this appeal and exclusivity. The higher the appeal, the higher the perceived exclusiveness, the higher that value force is. And it's great because if you have a higher value force, then you can also have a little bit higher of a cost force and still get people to move down the line. A credit card has an associated cost with it. It's a commitment that you're saying to someone. So if you can increase that value through appeal and exclusivity, then you can get more people through the funnel. That's what's happening here. We've increased the appeal, we've increased the exclusivity to make this an offer that resonates with the users. So moving on, it's one thing to know how to quantify these things. It's another thing to come up with the actual value propositions that you're going to be using and knowing when you've hit the sweet spot of appeal and exclusivity. Way long time ago, we all learned about Venn diagrams, and Venn diagrams are a great tool. Coming from a statistics and data science background, it's a great tool to help construct, form thoughts, and actually get to what is really truly important in the mind of the customer. And we start by two sides. On the left, we're going to have appeal. So if you're doing this for a new product or an ad or your company even, you want to get together, you want to brainstorm, what is it that is appealing about my offer? What is it that the customer wants to see? Why would they want this? And if you can answer that question, I want this, then you've nailed appeal. But we said the value is way more than just appeal, it's also exclusivity. So we put all the things that make our offer exclusive on the right side of the Venn diagram. What is it about this particular product or offer that I can only get from you? Why is this the only place I can get this thing that I already have said I wanted? When you marry these two together and you look in the middle, then you come up with the sweet spot, if you will. This is where you can generate tons of value propositions and test them because you've answered these two important questions. I really want this and I only get it from you. That is something that we can all resonate with. If you say that to your clients and you speak to them in this tone, this personal tone, telling them these things in the right way, I guarantee you're going to get an increase in conversion, which takes to a whole nother level. You start reducing your cost per acquisition, you start getting more revenue in, everyone's happy. So this is the powerful only factor. And we're going to talk the rest of the day about this only factor. We're going to give some more examples. First, I'd like the audience, does there anybody have any questions about this? Is this making sense to you? Let me know your feedback here. All right, Mike's getting it. We got a couple people getting yes. All right, so stop me if you don't. I'm going to leave you with the key principle number 2. We talked about the only factor. If you want to increase the conversion, then you have to strengthen that value proposition. And the place and the way you strengthen that value proposition is by finding the only factor, which is where appeal and exclusivity come together to make a very powerful claim. And you want people to say, I really want this. I can only get it from you. I'm definitely going to click on this ad, or I'm definitely going to move through this web page, whatever it may be. So look for that only factor within your business. And I invite you all, take your whole team together. Ask everyone what's appealing and exclusive. Get as many minds on this brainstorming of value proposition as you can within your organization and get to this point, because that's where you want to be. If you need more help with this, we have some great downloadable stuff. It's all free, obviously, as the Marketing Experiments content. This is a value proposition worksheet that you can actually walk through with your employees or by yourself. It can help you determine the exclusivity, help you determine the appeal, help you determine the net force that we were talking about of the total, net force of the value proposition. Just go to that URL at the bottom and take that worksheet. It's a really great thing. I actually use that whenever I'm coming up with a value proposition. All right, so let's now that we've gone through kind of this content, let's see how much of you guys are actually getting it. So here's 2 more ads. We have version A, support organization with every purchase. Get the only card that helps support organization. Based on what we've talked about, which of these ads has the only factor that we want? B's, yes, Sharon, B only, Kylie, very nice. Yeah, B, very good, Sean. All B's. You guys are killing it today. Great job. It is in fact B. We tested this one. We actually got a 74% increase in applications when we brought in this appeal and exclusivity. You can see we had a very high level of confidence, and it's just another example of how you marry these appeal and exclusivity to get a better value proposition. Once again, I'm going to ask you guys, so which of these, version A or version B? I'm going to give you some time to read them. I'm not going to emphasize anything because I don't want to give it away through my inflections in my voice. So tell me, version A or version B? Take a few seconds, read those. Let me know which one of these has the only factor of appeal and exclusivity in the value proposition. Okay, people are a little slower with this one. A question? Yeah. Seeing a lot of A's though. I got a couple B's coming in. More A's. Number 1, quantifying info. Good job, Kylie. Very good. Looks like you guys are getting this. It is, in fact, A again. Version A really had the only factor of the software suite. It's the number 1. It's on demand. Has over 6,000 worldwide clients. These are a lot of appealing and exclusive factors that this software company in particular had. And once they were started to speak to the customer in a way that the customer thought resonated with their thought process at the time, they were able to get this lift in clicks. So here's the final test protocol. You can see huge relative difference, 95% statistically confident. All right, you guys want to do one more? Because we're going to anyway. Strengthen your value proposition. So I want to give you a couple examples here of taking what you may or may not already have and how you can increase it into something better, right? So the first one, not this. Quest Data Services. It's a customized data center for medium to large businesses. The way to take a lot of information about Quest and so we're going to look at a competitor's ad who's doing something a little bit better than Quest, is the next gen data center. This time we're talking 100% uptime, SAS 70 audited greenfield data center, tour online. So they brought up a lot of what makes them appealing and what differentiates themselves from one of their biggest competitors into the ad, and really, once again, put that appeal and exclusivity first into the ad, as opposed to just something that's a little more bland, a little more generic, and sounds like something anybody could do. What you want to ask yourself is, does my value proposition only talk about my business? Like if I read the value proposition out loud to somebody, would they automatically think of me? You can think a lot of big brands that have catchy phrases or something, but really what they're doing is putting value, and they're associating that with the company, and they do it in such a way that we all remember it. So if you look at the Quest Data Services ad, you could take that same ad, switch the Next Gen Data Center, and really have an ad for Next Gen Data Center. It's very generic. Any data services center could use that wording. Next Gen did a great job of putting what is exclusive to them, what is appealing about them, into the ad. I'm sure that other people can say some of these things, but I know that Next Gen is the only one who can say all of these things in an ad, and that's what makes their ad better than the Quest. Once again, here's another one. This is about online degrees. So how would we talk about online degrees? What pieces of value are important? You got to think about the audience and what their motivation is, and then you can drive home to that with the value proposition. So let's look at the first one, the not this one. Earn degree online. Interested in earning your degree online? Inquire now about Capella. So Capella did something that a lot of people I see doing out in the marketplace now, where they're trying to resonate with their customer, they're trying to match the motivation, they're trying to talk to them and trying to get into that thought process, but they're not adding any value to that point in the thought process. Interested in earning your degree online? Of course I am. I've probably typed in degrees online or online colleges or some other keyword that already answers that question. Inquire now about Capella. You haven't separated themselves from anybody else, right? They're not speaking to any one particular customer. That could be around any person who does degrees online could use that phrase. Now, Accredited Online Degrees by Franklin.edu actually goes and talks to the people and tells them why they should go with them. Students all ages 18 to 75, so they're including you. This is makes it appealing to everyone. I'm not going to be the one young person, the one older person in my class. I'm going to be amongst a group of peers. Established in 1902. Not many online degree schools have been established in 1902. Obviously, the internet, there's some of the major universities that are offering online programs, but bringing that piece in and letting people know that they've been around and you can trust this name is a great point. Last, over 11,000 classmates. That's another great piece of value proposition. You're going to be in a community of learners. You're going to be part of something that's been around a long time and something that's generated for you and your audience. So Franklin.edu is the way to go, adding more appeal, adding more exclusivity into the thing. Was this a PPC ad? Sorry, I'm just reading through some of the questions here. Jessica's doing a great job answering them. And thank you for that, Jessica. Anybody else have any questions on this particular ad or anything we've gone through so far? Perfect. All right, so I want to throw this back up there. I want everyone to see this again because it's really the key piece of information for this website. This is the thing I want you to take away, and I want you to take this back to your team, and I want you to own this, and I want you to go through the Venn diagram. I want you to download that worksheet and teach yourself and give yourself the tools and the powers to do this. It's not rocket science. It's just one of those things that you don't realize what you're doing until you have this scientific approach, this methodology to back you up. So find that only factor and drive results in your business. All right, so if we don't have any more questions, we're going to move into live optimization if we have time. We got some time? Yeah, we got plenty of time. One last time, if you've liked what I've said, I am one of the coaches. We have a lot of other great Meclabs scientists here that are more than willing to help. We all come from an education. We want to see people not only learn but succeed. So please take us up on this coaching offer. There's no cost to you, but there are limited appointments and availabilities. So let us know about that. We'll move on to live optimization. Ken, come on up.
Hey, Ben.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
You doing all right?
Yeah, good. Thanks for having me up. Yeah.
Thank you for having me and providing all this content. It seems like everybody's really been resonating with it and enjoying it. So,
awesome.
Guys, to yourselves, give Ken a round of applause.
Thanks,
Pretend we hear you. All right. So,
let me quickly remind the folks as well that we're going to get to a page today. We're going to do a quick live optimization of a page. And if you guys like what you see, next Thursday we'll be having a live optimization exclusive webinar at our parent company, Meclabs.com. So you can use that link right there, Meclabs.com/liveopt, to find more information and to register for that.
All right, yeah. This is really good. Guys, we want to see your pages. Help us help you by sending us your pages, and definitely tune in for the Meclabs webinar next week. Ready for some live op?
Yes.
All right.
All right,
Tell us
Ben.
a little bit about this page.
Okay, so this is Titan HQ. They do software for web security and email security. Salvador was the one who was kind enough to submit this page to us. And let's take a quick look at it. Brent, if you wouldn't mind pulling up the page. While this is coming up, let's congratulate Brent also, his 1 year anniversary.
Is
the
it?
company,
Yeah.
So,
guys, Brent is one of our key technical people that get these web clinics and webinars to you on a regular basis. So he's been around for a year. I never thought he'd make it this long, but apparently he did. But no, Brent is great, and we couldn't do this without you. So thank you, Brent.
yeah, thank you very much, Brent. So right away, Ben, when I'm looking at the page, we're looking at the headline, so easy, your web and email security simplified. A safer network is only minutes away. If you wouldn't mind scrolling up just a little bit, Brent. The first thing that I notice is the headline.
Yes.
So easy, you know, it's catchy, it's a good headline, but it's kind of generic. It doesn't really tell us much about the actual product. So I would suggest, Salvador, maybe something a little bit more value specific to your product, perhaps security simplified or simplified security.
Yeah, and I would even go a little bit deeper, because I imagine everyone who's doing this kind of network is talking about security. Tell me why you have a safer network. You know, it's one thing, it is appealing and it might be exclusive to be a safer network. But when you bring in those specific value points, exactly why you're safer, then you're really driving home the appeal and exclusivity.
Yes, definitely. And the next thing I see here, Ben, is this image. Again, a nice lifestyle-based image, but it doesn't really, to me, it doesn't really convey the value of the product either. This gentleman could be looking at anything. You know, he could be browsing Reddit. He could be looking at ESPN. Like, I don't see necessarily simple and secure when I see this image. What do you think?
No, I completely agree. He actually looks a little almost perplexed, or like he's thinking about something. I would probably want an image that said, you know, relief and ease, and you know, made me I want somebody who looks like they're comfortable and feels safe in this image. And Ken, let's also ask the audience, you know, guys, what are you seeing right now with these, before we scroll down, what are you seeing out there with these headlines and images?
And there's also one major thing that I see on this page as it exists that maybe the audience can pick up as well. I'd say probably the number one problem.
With it, we can see it on the screen right now?
We can see it on the screen
right
right
guys,
now.
Ken's number one problem is on the screen. Let's see if you can find it. Security made easy, it's a good suggestion. Color, very off-putting to my eyes. Vague and bland, difficult to read. Whoever said difficult to read page, are you talking about the, because of the background it's on, the size of the words, the font copy? What makes it hard for you to read page? See some other people, you're asking for my email address without telling me anything about your product. Very good, Scott. And what Scott is highlighting here is that the cost of giving your email is outweighing the value that you've given
And
me
that's,
yet.
Scott, that is exactly what I had in mind.
See, you hit it, Scott. Good job.
To me, it feels like they're asking too much too soon.
Yeah.
You know, they're starting immediately with this ask before we even know anything about the software, what it does, what its real value. So right now we've just got some somewhat vague copy, and they're already hitting us for our email address.
Yeah, and back to Paige's comment, she said the typeface is too light. I also agree. I think that could be adding again to the reduction of value.
Yep.
If they're not seeing it, they're not reading it, then they're not getting the value no matter what that says.
Tough for me to read up here, that light text on the background.
Yeah. Perfect. All right, so you ready to scroll down a little bit?
Yeah, Brent, why don't you bring us down a little bit? Okay, so what I see here, Ben, I like how, you know, this kind of hits on the exclusivity and the appeal. I like how they've called out the number of organizations and the number of countries that are using their software. And I think this is pretty nice here, how they go into their 3 different types of software and they highlight the features of each. So I think they're doing a good job here. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that the value points that they're bringing across right here on this part of the website is great. My first suggestion would bring some of this up above the fold.
Definitely.
Let people see it before that ask.
And all we're seeing before the fold is that gentleman looking perplexed.
Yeah, I agree. A couple of things that maybe it would be worth a test if you're going to test the value proposition here is, instead of saying 129 countries, say what percentage of countries, if it's a good percentage. If you're in 60, 70, 80% of countries, that might be more powerful than just saying the number of countries that you're in. Products easier than competing solutions. When you bring up that it's easier point, and then you talk about your three, but you still haven't told me why it's easier. So maybe follow that with a little subheadline or a bulleted copy as to not only that it's easy, but as to why. But all in all, I think that they've done a really good job. I really like the credibility indicators to add to that value underneath the first two products there. So yeah, no, I agree. I think this part is better.
Yep.
Needs to be brought up a little bit, some of these points. And
I
just
still,
anything else you can do to
and
increase
I still
the
agree with
appeal and
you as
exclusivity.
well, to just, instead of, like, for example, Spam Titan, instead of telling us multiple times within that copy that it's easy, maybe bring some clarity to what makes it so much easier than your competition.
Yeah, no, it's exactly right. Okay.
Let's move on down, Brent. This quote, Ben, I thought this was an interesting quote. Love the product. The price is one of the lowest for small businesses, easy to configure, and tech support is above average. A good, strong quote. I would suggest maybe even something a little bit stronger for the testimonial. If I bring home a B-, from a test, that's above average, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I've got that exclusivity, and I'm best in class.
Yeah, no, I agree. And the way it's they have that value over to the right outside of my iPath. Honestly, I didn't even get over to there before you started talking about it because I was reading stuff on the left. Also, the quotes are a little off. Audience, tell us, you see this right now. What do you see about this particular thing? Give this company, Titan HQ, a little bit of what you think they could do to improve the value, the appeal, the exclusivity that they're trying to put across here. Once again, while the audience is responding and giving us their thoughts, Ken, you still have the typeface problem that white on green's a little bit hard to do. You're telling me about how we help education, which seems a little disconnected from the rest of the site. I didn't even know you did anything in education yet. I guess maybe that's a vertical they're trying to go. So if you're trying to relay that you're an industry standard or somebody who has a deep knowledge of your personal industry or something like that, then talk specifically about what you've done in those industries. Ken, I agree with you too that the value copy could be stronger. I would also maybe go with somebody who has a little bit of weight. This Kevin Carpenter, I don't know who that is, and that person may or may not. Maybe he's a super genius, so it was easy for him, but it's not going to be easy for me. Let's see what the audience is saying here a little bit. I like some of the stuff. Focus less on the we and more on the prospect. That's a great point, Katie. We often as marketers fall into the habit of speaking in our own thoughts, our own way of speaking, like how we would speak to a coworker, instead of speaking to the prospect. I'm sure the people at Titan HQ who made this page understand themselves why it's easy, and they understand what they do for different verticals and industries. And this is probably resonating with them left and right, but you got to take yourself out of that and put yourself in the mind of the customer. So great point, Katie. See more stuff about the language. Jim brings up a good point. The customer quote doesn't really tie to the rest of the page. It is kind of out there on an island and not really driving. If you're going to use that customer quote, then you want to make it resonate and restate the value on the rest of the page where it's being seen. So that's a great point. A couple other ones. Katie also does not want above average support. So we've hit on that above average a few times.
All right, we are running a little bit low on time. Brent, let's go down one more section, and then we will wrap up. So here we have our option to start the free trial with that CTA, and we've got some stats here. Let's again ask the audience, anything here that you think we could optimize, we could improve upon, that would be worth testing?
Customizable is misspelled. Thank you, Norma.
That is very true.
Yeah, Kylie, good points, but they're buried on the page again. Once again, we need to bring some of that value up. That's very good.
To me, I would like to see maybe, I mean, I know August is relatively recent, but if there's a way that we could bring in even some more recent stats, you know, what's going on.
Well, when it loaded, it acted like it was calculating in real time, but then you say August, that takes it away. The way the numbers are displayed, even for me, is a little bit off-putting because you have the billion, million below. They all look kind of the same. The 2.3 billion is way more than the 7.4 million. So, you know, maybe look at displaying those numbers in a way that is actually, you know, it's easier to be received by the person reading the numbers. More info on what the free trial entails. Very good point. We haven't what we called process level value proposition here. What is that free trial going to get me? You know, where's this button going to take me? Is it going to? Is it just like? Do I get to start right now? Do you need information? Do you need a credit card? Maybe build later. It's a good point there. Call to action is weak. I could see that too. It's a little muted, and it's also not really relaying any value. Definitely not building any urgency. Like start free trial now, or you know, get safer email now, or whatever you're trying to relay there. How long does the free trial last? A lot about the free trial. So add some value about the free trial, I think, is the main point here for the audience. Ken, what else do you have you want to say on this page? Anything else resonating with you?
Just maybe let's get started with the free trial. Sounds a little bit, you know, maybe a little bit too casual, a little bit too lackadaisical. But other than that, I think we've hit on it. Yeah. You know, just other than let's move this valuable information up a little bit higher.
Great. Well, Ken, thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
Audience, thank you so much for being such good receivers of the information. I was trying to give you, you all seem to pick up on it. You gave Titan HQ a lot of great things. I love seeing the participation. Love seeing you guys get it. Feel free to use those free resources that we showed you earlier. And please, once again, please watch our webinar on next week, January 28th. It'll start at 4 p.m. We're going to be talking about a lot of great things, and send your live optimization pages to us. No page is too big, too small, too good, too bad. Ken looks at them all. We all look at them, and we pick. So please send those to us so that we can provide the value to you. Once again, thank you for being a part of this, and we'll see you next week.